In contrast to the rush of Syrian refugees, Canadians will soon welcome. Specific details about the plan to bring them here have emerged haltingly. But tonight, CBC News has new information straight from the immigration minister. John McCallum says the government has issued 928 resident visas to those refugees. When the green light to travel is given, they'll leave camps in Turkey and Jordan and from Lebanon, where our team met desperate families hoping to be the ones selected. Senior correspondent Susan Ormiston is there with a look at the process on that end. Susan.
Peter, the first group of Syrian refugees will come to Canada on a Canadian military plane. The government's announced the rest of them mostly will come on charter aircraft organized by the International Organization of Migration. Meanwhile, here in Beirut, the UNHCR is calling up refugees who will potentially be new Canadians. Outside the UNHCR gate in Beirut, refugees swarm, clutching papers.
Half Canada.
The universal plea here, choose me. We've come to a reception center for Lebanon's 1.2 million refugees. Every day, desperate people crowd in with intractable problems.
Their struggles, their inability to survive in Lebanon because of the conditions here. Sometimes they're simply here to tell us that they're not able to survive easily and ask for help.
Each has a story. This Iraqi man and his disabled daughter say they were interviewed to go to Canada a year ago, but have heard nothing. Every refugee in this room is registered with the UNHCR, but they can't apply to be resettled in Canada or anywhere else. It works the reverse. The UNHCR looks at all the files in their database and chooses those most vulnerable to be referred to countries like Canada. Upstairs in this former apartment block, Angela Muru makes fateful decisions daily.
It's extremely difficult, and it is a difficult decision that all the staff have to make every day about who gets resettled and who doesn't.
She's waiting to hear exactly how many Canada wants from Lebanon. Jordan's been asked for up to 10,000. You haven't been told yet?
I'm waiting for confirmation. I've received a figure, but we're waiting for confirmation.
The UNHCR reviews files, interviews, gets iris scans, cross-checks biographical and security data, and rules out combatants. Those approved are deemed most vulnerable, but who have the best potential to cope with resettling.
Can we get it done? Yes, definitely. Can we identify a sufficient number of vulnerable cases that would qualify for the Canadian program? Definitely.
Once files are with Canada,
Canada has its own process in which they're collecting biometrics and they're conducting their own security screening. And then prior to departure, information is shared with the government of Lebanon.
Muru has a long track record in resettlement decisions.
And I know the refugees will do well. The people that are resettled to Canada will integrate well and will do extremely well.
Most refugees still would rather go home to a peaceful Syria, but that's an increasingly dim prospect. Extra teams of Canadian immigration and security officials are en route. They'll do the final health, security, and immigration checks here in the Middle East before sending the refugees on to Canada. Peter.
All right, Susan, thanks very much.